Yeah. Hi, I'm Maggie Kline, living in California. My ancestral roots are from Hungary, where my grandparents fled from many, many years ago. My heart is with the people of Ukraine who are fleeing from war now. I feel very sad. And at the same time, I have tools that I would like to give as a gift to those of you who are refugees and those of you who are caregivers who are welcoming families and welcoming people into your countries along the borders of Ukraine and beyond in all of Europe. I have been teaching trauma proofing your kids and trauma through a child's eyes throughout Europe and the rest of the world for 16 years. I studied with Dr. Peter Levine and Dr. Porges, and I am a faculty member for the Somatic Experiencing International. So I am honored to be here with you. I want to acknowledge, first of all, the precious work of Drs. Sonia Gomez, my dear friend from Brazil, who taught about grounding and the importance of stabilization with adults and children to be able to come back into a sense of being connected to Mother Earth. And Dr. Stephen Porges talking about the importance of relaxing our bodies. Take some time now to relax with me. I know I'm feeling a little novelty about being recorded. And so I noticed as I do what I call the weather report and check inside that I'm not as at ease as I normally am. So I have to take some time. And I ask you to take time with me right now to feel your feet planted solidly on the earth, whether you're sitting or standing, and to feel your heartbeat, and to allow yourself to sink into the chair until a breath comes in, a deeper breath that's down in the belly. There, that's better. I just took a weather report, and I'm feeling more present with you now so that I can be more of myself and share with you important information, how to help yourselves and your children. So to add on to Dr. Stephen Porges and Sonia's work, one of the things that Stephen talked about was the importance of the relaxed muscles in the adults' bodies so that when they hug their children, they can really feel the hug rather than feeling the tenseness and the fear. With trauma, when there's a shock and we have to move quickly, our amazing human body pours out neurochemicals and hormones, 26 different things that go on that I won't name, to get us prepared for moving very quickly, whether it's to catch a train or to pack and leave and gather things. And in that beautiful stuff going on inside that we don't see, we have amazing amount of energy. And that energy, even when we come to a safe place, sometimes continues inside of us, especially in a case where, I'm sorry, grounding, and through our grounding and through our relaxing through our breath of our body so that we can be there fully present for our children. We need to understand that when those fight, flight, and freeze chemicals are still ongoing in our bodies, that we need a way to let our body know what our mind knows, that we've arrived at a safe haven, even if it's temporary. I know that the people of Eastern and Central Europe are so kind and open-hearted, and they understand the plight. They understand they're in danger as well. They receive with open arms. And we know that intellectually. But with trauma, the instinctual brain stem that tells us whether we're safe or unsafe sometimes doesn't shut off, especially when we know that the war is still going on and we may have had to leave loved ones behind. However, it's very important to help yourselves and your children to feel the safety of the moment, because the only way to stop the flood of chemicals in our body that causes long-term symptoms is to be in the moment, to orient to what's around you, and to begin to reconnect with our bodies. And for children, very often what happens is there's a disruption in the bonding and attachment, the secure attachment that you have developed with your child since birth can be disrupted, especially if your child had early trauma with birth or surgery or medical procedures. What can happen is that they become disconnected more easily. They're more vulnerable, no matter whether they're young children or elementary age children or whether they're teens. It doesn't matter. They can lose their connection to self and to their parents and be living in a state of either hyper arousal, where they can't be still or sleep or eat normal meals. They're looking for some soothing through too many sweets, or not being able to digest their food properly, or they may be overactive in the neurochemicals that floods their brain and puts them into a state of being spaced out. Neither choice is a good one. So to come back into our bodies, the first thing that I recommend is what I call the 8 essentials of healthy bonding and attachment. So these can be used to rebond with your children and with yourselves. I'm going to show you the list, and you can take a screenshot of that list. So use it with your children, no matter how old they are. Teenagers and older children need hugs and holding and kind eyes just as much as you do. I will read the list first, and then I'll show you some pictures. Okay, so safety and containment. That means wrapping around the arms. You can use a scarf or a shawl, and just really help your children to feel their own body as a container for the difficult and also the joyful sensations and emotions that live inside the body. They're not in the head. I mean, they are, but they're also in the body. Our emotions live in our hearts and in our breath and in our belly, and so do our sensations, our physical sensations. So one of the things I love to use with children, oh, look, I have a little butterfly that just landed to help me with this exercise. I teach children. I started this during the pandemic to help them when they couldn't see their teachers or their grandparents. Now they might not be able to see the father or the grandparent or siblings that are away. So you teach the children to imagine that they're a beautiful butterfly. And they can, first of all, put their hands any place that feels comfortable. It's important that they don't have their shoulders like this tense. So you can help them to feel their breathing first. It's a happy butterfly who's looking at the beautiful spring flowers. And they can stroke themselves on the arms or they can squeeze. And when they're ready to get a snack and they see a beautiful flower, oh, there's some behind me, then they can start flapping their wings and tap. This bilateral tapping on the containment muscles actually helps to connect the right and left hemispheres of the brain, bringing the child and the adult, because you're going to be doing it with them together, bringing them back into their body so they can have a nice place for their feelings to land, rather than being disconnected from their bodies. So then they can go faster because they're hungry. Oh, they fly through the air, come fly with me. Okay, and they land on the flower and they rest. This resting and imagining that they're having something very sweet. If they're little children, you can have something in a cup with a straw where they could actually sip through the straw, something wonderful, or imagine they're sipping something through the straw and they're relaxing so they can digest. And they can relax on the flower. They can stroke their arms, whatever they want, hold their elbows, they can rock a little bit. I know sometimes when I watch butterflies, it looks like they're rocking a little bit on the flower. And notice what happens inside of yourself. You may have felt a little deeper breath as you were doing that. And this alternating between something active that arouses the part of the nervous system for movement in a pleasurable way, rather than in a way of moving from danger, they're moving toward pleasure. And then the relaxing down stimulates what's called the parasympathetic rest and digest branch, so that the children can have better digestion, and you can too, and better sleep. And then when they're ready, they can go again. They can go fast again. Faster, faster, faster. The flower is further away, right? And then they fly. And then they land. And then they take their rest and their snack time. So you can do that as many times as the child wants. The more that they do it, the more it means that they need it. And if they stop, that's fine. That means that they don't need it anymore. So that's, I just taught you 3 of the essentials, the 8 essentials. One was containment and safety. One was pleasure and laughter. One was alternating between rapid movements and arousing of the nervous system in a pleasurable way instead of in a dangerous way, fleeing from threat, and then relaxing down to give the rest and digest branch, the social engagement branch, a chance to feel that up and down of activation and then deactivation and relaxation. Activation, deactivation. It's very important to be practicing those cycles so that the child can come back and ground and then come back to their feet again and notice how their feet are. I just had I was using a cardboard box for my feet for the Zooming, and I had a friend make a beautiful wooden stool, and it's much more solid and it feels so much better. I highly recommend that the children are barefoot, and so are the adults, so that the soles of the shoes don't interfere with the beautiful energy that we receive from Mother Earth to support us, because we are creatures in gravity. And when there's too much trauma, we tend to float out of our bodies and live separated from our own heart, lungs, belly, legs, feet, arms, legs, where we walk around with in our heads. And that's where the anxiety lives, is in the thoughts about what's in the past or what the future may bring. Well, what we really need most in a situation like this is to be in present time, realizing the safety of the moment. And that includes orienting. So for example, I can look around and I can find things that are beautiful in my surroundings. And I'm seeing a beautiful fern that I'm so proud of. I'm seeing my banana tree in the yard. I don't know what the children will have around them, but I'm sure there'll be something, a piece of artwork on the wall. I see some spring daffodils. I see a toy, a Hoberman sphere that opens and closes to show how our whole body expands with each breath and contracts and expands again. And you can use this with children to help them. If you don't have one of these toys, you can imagine just using hands to expand as the inhale comes, and then a pause, and then the exhale comes. And if the children have something tangible to hold, it could be even, I don't know if these are available, but if they are, they would be wonderful to have. Maybe I'll call Mr. Hoberman. I know when I went to Thailand to work with the Southeast Asian tsunami, he donated little tiny ones, but they broke easily. They were on keychains, so that they have something to open and close, and to begin to feel the rhythm. We call it tracking the movements internally, so we have access. And sometimes when we open up, we can feel a little bit of energy in our stomach or our belly, which is the energy to move. And if it's children that are frightened, will feel it as anxiety. But if they get to move in a pleasant way, you can explain that energy is the same energy that prepares us to play, to toss a ball, to toss and to catch, to jump up and down, to do chase games. And so they can imagine using that energy to escape. And they can play escape games and how they escaped, and run around and hide and know that they're safe, and look out and say, oh, look where I am. I'm in this beautiful room with a new friend. I have a Hungarian friend, or a Polish friend, or a Czech friend, or a German friend, Dutch friend, whatever country, Romanian friend, and they have toys I've never seen before. Wow, I'm here in this moment now. And what does that feel like inside? Can I relax? Yeah, I didn't run away just now from my home. I ran playing a chase game with my friend, and it's new, and I'd like to go home someday, but it's okay for this moment now. I'm here and I'm safe and I'm well. So soft, kind eyes are really important. In addition to, and that's really easy to do when you're playing a game with a child, whether you're blowing a balloon or you're tossing a ball, that you can actually call the child's name and say, you have to look at me to see if I'm ready. Okay, so I think my friends, Tereza and Zlata, are nearby, so I'm going to ask them if they're ready, and I have to say their name, and they have to tell me my name too, because they're old friends, but I haven't seen them for a long time. So Okay, here we go. Are you ready, Zlata?
Yes, Maggie, I am.
I can't see your eyes. Can you take your glasses off? I see your beautiful smile. Okay, here we go. Catch. And she catches. Yeah. And now you can throw the ball to somebody else. I see another friend.
Tereza, are you ready?
Yes.
No.
Oh.
Okay, she forgot to say yes, Zlata. So go ahead, you get another turn and we can laugh about it, right? And you thought it was easy, right?
So, Tereza, are you ready?
I'm sorry, I have to stop now because, I really couldn't hear.
Hi, Maggie. May I throw it to back? Yes.
Hi, Zlata. Yes, Zlata, I am ready.
So, Maggie, it's yours.
I got it. You see, so it's not easy sometimes because they mess up, they either drop the ball or they forget the name or they forget to say, yes, Zlata, I'm ready. And then everybody laughs. And so you get the essential of laughter and joy and stimulating the smiling parts of the face and the throat through your rhythmical language, because rhythmical language and rhythms and movement is part of the 8 essentials. So we get the laughter and joy when there's goof ups and mistakes made. And then we can also do synchronized facial things, like I can stick my tongue out and you stick your tongue out back. And, you know, kids do this naturally, but when you do it with an adult with a kind eyes, it makes all the difference because they're feeling the nervous system and the joy in the caregivers. And this is essential for them to feel themselves internally. So I'm going to show you, I think I mentioned all the 8 essentials: play, laughter, rhythmical activities, synchronized gestures, and alternating. I'm going to pause for a minute to get a few slides up to show you and before we end. So these are the 8 essentials of healthy attachment. They're necessary to develop the rest and digest branch of the nervous system during the first 18 months of life. So especially if you have infants, these are extremely important. However, these essentials are necessary throughout the lifespan. It's the same essentials that intimate partners need to keep their relationships joyful and connected. So it doesn't matter if your child is a baby or a teenager. I mean, it matters because, of course, babies are more vulnerable, but all of the children need these 8 essentials. So there's lots of ways to nurture. We can't skin to skin mold maybe with a teenager, although we can if you're the parent. You can have the adolescent put the head right on these bonding muscles, just like the child did as a baby. They may need that now because of the trauma, to heal the trauma. And they, again, as Stephen Porges reminds you, the adult needs to feel relaxed first so that the child can feel that beautiful nourishment from a relaxed parent. With a baby, it's mutual eye gazing, like being in bliss with your baby close up. With older children, it's kindness and softness around the eyes to let them know everything's going to be all right. Yeah, everything's going to be all right. This is a change. It's new, it's different, but we're going to be all right. We're safe now in this moment. And then the shared attention and focus is about the adult perceiving the child's needs in terms of if they're feeling anxious or depressed, sad or confused, that the adult wants to know what's inside the child, what's going on, and not to be intrusive, especially if it's a teenager, because sometimes they just need time alone, but to let the child know that you want to get to know all about how they're feeling and what they're needing, and that you can pick it up in your own nervous system. Is my child, through your eyes, is my child tense? Is my child acting like nothing's happening because they're feeling numb? Is my child saying they're okay and they're enjoying their new friend or their new house, their new family that they're temporarily living with, or that they're excited to see relatives in some other country, but yet at the same time, they're not able to sleep or they're not able to digest their food, that the parent has an attentiveness to those things and can recognize trauma symptoms and let the child know if they're having nightmares. They can draw them, and they can, I'm going to do another video for you with how you can use art with different kinds of activities to help children release the tension inside and to feel opposite feelings of the trauma, to feel joyful feelings, to feel feelings of completion and present moment. Drawing is a wonderful vehicle. So I'll be seeing you again. The nurturing, sometimes it's a matter of just having the child lay down and cupping your hands, soft, warm hands, and having your child rest their hands, their head into your hands, the occipital area, where the brainstem is deep inside. And if you have your hands cupped until the child's head drops into your hands, it can relieve a lot of tension and pressure. You don't need to be a cranial sacral worker or an advanced somatic experiencing practitioner to be able to soothe. It's like cradling a baby's head when they're upset until the baby feels safe. Another thing you can do first, even before you touch the head, is to be from behind, to touch the shoulders and to squeeze a little bit, give a little pressure there, again, so they can feel containment. Nurturing touch also has to do with games that involve skin touch and rhythmic movement and synchronized gestures. So you're doing the same thing. I'll show you a few more pictures before I say goodbye. And then, of course, lots of pleasure and laughter and play. And then time for quietness, whether it's reading a story or singing a song or playing some beautiful nature sounds, a lullaby if they're little ones. It could be coloring if they're a little bit older, or playing a little game that's quiet until their nervous system relaxes. So I'm going to show you a couple more slides to give you examples, and then I'll say goodbye for now. So if you take a look at the adult and the child, you can see all 8 essentials: safety, eye contact, attunement and touch, rhythmic movement. You can't see the movement because it's not a video. Synchronized facial gestures with both making each other smile and laugh, laughter and play, and then afterwards, quiet time to rest. So even if you're with an older child, an 8-year-old, an 11-year-old who is feeling frightened, if you think in terms of what it would look like, I can't show you all my slides today, but what it would look like with an older child, to give the same kind of essential attunement and secure attachment will help the child feel safe. So I'll give you some other examples. Here are parents preparing food, and when they feel good together and they're relaxed and calm and regulated, they're co-regulating their child, even though their child is doing another activity like coloring. And they're feeling the love for the child. And they might go over and later play with the child and touch and maybe do some games like the children are doing in the picture, some hand clapping games. Let's see, I've got one here. This is for younger children, but I do this with older children as well. Play. What happened? I actually play hand clapping games with teenagers where we do things like spelling out their name in rhythm, and they spell out my name or another child's name, and we do different things, maybe counting 1, 2, 3, and start doing funny things together. And then the rhythm starts happening, and then somebody slips up and then they laugh. So you can do this with adults. It's kind of fun. I've done it with adults before, clapping out their name, making all kinds of tapping all over the body. These are fun ways for older children to get nurturing touch as well. So that is it for today. This gives you an example. Drumming is a wonderful way to do rhythms. This is a class of children, but when I work with them, so if you're a classroom teacher receiving children, it would be great to do these rhythmic games with kids where they get to know each other and learn to spell each other's names and clap it out and have fun with it. And as they make a mistake, they laugh together and they enjoy each other's company. Drums, if you don't have fancy drums, you can use empty plastic cans, paint cans, coffee cans, old cans, pots, and the adult can make a rhythm, and then the child makes a rhythm, and sometimes the child will go first and make a rhythm, and then you follow. So you get that nice rhythmic eye contact and laughter and movement together, because the movement helps to release the stress and tension in the muscles with laughter. So that's it for today. My next time with you together, can we spotlight me again? I want to show a few books before I say goodbye. Our next time, I'll show you some art activities you can use with children of all ages, from 3 and 4-year-olds. So I hope that was helpful, and we'll meet again, because I will teach you things that can be done with children as young as 3.5 and 4, all the way up through teenagers and adults, that I found very, very helpful to work with the quieting the threat response and helping children to feel not only safe, but successful in that they completed something different. I'll show you different examples. But before I say goodbye, I would like to let you know that thanks to my colleagues in the Czech Republic and in Hungary, the book that I co-wrote with Peter Levine, what's the name of it can you read the title for me? It's in Czech.
Yes, Trauma očima dítěte. Probouzení
Yes.
obyčejného zázraku léčení.
And there's activities and games in here for working with man-made disasters and natural disasters. So there's a whole series of games. And then just last month, I got a gift from the Hungarian colleagues because the book for parents came out in Hungarian, my mother's mother tongue. My mother spoke Hungarian and German. So I am thrilled that this came out as well. And for those of you who can read English, I have another resource. It's my latest book, Brain Changing Strategies to Trauma-Proof Our Schools. And it should really read and communities, because it's not just for schools, it's for anyone who works with kids, who loves kids. And it's based on neuroscience, a combination of the attachment, secure attachment skills, the somatic experiencing sensory awareness skills, and embodied mindfulness skills, all together in one package with the subtitle, A Heartfelt Movement to Wire Well-Being. I hope that this movement spreads around the world, because I believe that when we're regulated together as a world, that the possibility for peace will come as we all feel our connection as human beings, that we all share the same brain, body, nervous system, and our hearts can beat as one. I'm wearing my peace symbol, and I pray every day for peace. Thank you for being with me today. And thank you for the Ukraine Somatic Experiencing Ukrainian Task Force for taking their time to make it possible for us to bring the knowledge and skills right into your homes.
Thank you, Maggie. Thank you so much.